सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. हरिः ओं श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः. हरिः ओं. In the last class, we have completed chapter 16 of Bhagavad Gita. Today, we will take up the summary of the 16th chapter, Daivasura Sampadvibhaga Yogam. In these two chapters, 16 and 17, Paramatma did not give Atma Bodha. Atma Jnanam is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. But he kept this Atma Jnanam aside in these two chapters deliberately. Because without Jnana Yogyata Prapti, without acquiring the qualification to get Jnanam, there is no point teaching or learning Shastra. Only for a refined and ready mind, Jnanam can be absorbed. So, the ready mind means Jnana Yogyata. That can be achieved by Karma Yoga and Upasana Yoga. Karma Yoga gives you Chitta Suddhi and Upasana gives you Chitta Ekagrata. Purification of the mind and concentration of the mind. These two will make a sadhaka sadhana chatushtaya sampanna. He is fully qualified by fourfold qualification. So wherever possible, Shastra often emphasizes this particular aspect, that is how to equip oneself with Jnana Yogyata. This is a very important thing. So that is why Paramatma categorized two chapters especially on preparation of the mind. Sometimes if you have not got the Jnana Yogyata and you have acquired this knowledge, it will be counterproductive. You may develop a kind of ego. You think that you are God and you start insulting others. Others are inferior. I am superior. Like that kind of complexes will be generated if you are not having proper qualification. So this will lead to unnecessary complications. That's why the entire Atma Jnanam emphasizes on Jnana Yogyata. Jnana Yogyata is very, very important. That Veda Purva is entirely dedicated for samskaram, that means purification. Veda Antabhaga is a very, very minute and small portion. So, Veda Purva has prescribed 4 different ashrama dharmas: Brahmacharya ashram, Gruhastha ashram, Vanaprastha ashram, Sannyasa ashram. If you think a man's life is 100 years, 75 years he can totally dedicate himself in all the 3 ashramas. That is Brahmacharyam, Gruhasthashramam and Vanaprastham. The balance 25 years he can take up the Sannyasa ashramam so that he can get Jnana Yogyata and he can acquire the Atma Jnanam and get the benefit. This is the idea. So accordingly, now 100 years is not practical nowadays. You can think of some 70 years or 80 years and accordingly, proportionately you can divide. If the refinement is not there, you can never acquire the knowledge. Even if you acquire the knowledge, you cannot hold it. Even if you hold it, you cannot yield the benefit that is promised. When a farmer sows the seed, he prepares the ground. Without preparation of the ground, if he sows, then it will not give proper yield. So before sowing the seed, there will be so much of preparation. He will till the ground, then he will apply manure and he will water it, and then he will sow the seeds. So like that, samskara anantaram yeva jnanam moksham dadati. This is the rule. So without getting refinement, you cannot expect moksha. So about this refinement, Paramatma has given a beautiful description in both these chapters. That is Daiva Sampatti, Asuri Sampatti, which is do's and don'ts. He categorized as Daivi Sampatti and Asuri Sampatti. In Daivi Sampatti has given do's, in Asuri Sampatti has given don'ts. We are not going into the details. Now we will look into this entire chapter in a different angle. The angle is different, but the purpose is same. That is to get the refinement. Refinement means jnana yogyata. So refinement can be viewed in 4 different angles. One from the human angle, the second from the doer angle, the third from experiencer angle, fourth from mumukshu angle. How you can get these refinements, we will scrutinize in these angles. The first angle being the human angle. When we are human beings, we are much, much superior to the animals. So, as a human being, what is your ultimate goal? What is it that you have to achieve ultimately? So, you should know and try to acquire before you perish this body, before you shed this body. So first one is you have to improve the health. Shastra often alerts, often gives alerts about our personal health. Only if and only if you are healthy, you can achieve anything. So in every prayer, this is embedded, this is incorporated. Though the ultimate goal is moksham, but to achieve moksha, we need to have health. So that's why we say in the Shanti Pata, we always pray for personal health. Badram karne bisruniyama devaha stirai rangai tushtuvagum sastanobihi. Let my limbs hail and healthy condition. So, if you have to listen to 1 hour Vedanta, if you have some backache or knee pain and neck pain and all that, you cannot sit quietly. So, your ears must be perfect. And you should listen carefully and attentively whatever the Guru says. So you require health. The health is the most important thing. That is why we have to see that health is maintained and health is improved. So this health means health is threefold health. One is body health, second is mental health, the third one is intellectual health. So all the 3 must be perfect. Wherever you see, if you open up any paper or any communication channel, you see that there will be lot of advertisements, lot of announcements about yogasanas. So you have to take up yogasana, you have to take up walking, you have to take up moderation in eating and so on. So this is required. This is to be a part of your life. Then the second aspect in health is the mental health. How to improve the mental health. So if you have to have a good mental health, you should have a tranquil atmosphere to have a mind without any agitation, without any kind of wavering and vacillation. So, it is not just enough if you have a bodily health. A bodily health is like a friend, but it should be, associated with the mental health also. So, asantasya kutasukam. So, if there is a mental imbalance, there is no sukam at all. Asantasya manobharam. So, if there is an imbalance in the mind, if the proper ambience is not there for the mind, for the mind to have the tranquility, then it will become an enemy. It will become an obstacle in personal level. So this mental health is also very important. They also stress this in the management trainings. So you need to have peace and equality in the mind. So if you have this peace and equality, if you establish peace and equality in the mind, then you're perfectly well at the mind level. Then intellectual health. So intellectual health is the capacity to learn something, the capacity to have clarity in the mind, the capacity to think clearly without any ambiguity. So this is what we say the intellectual health. For many people, they have no clarity in thinking. They cannot express what they have in mind. That means there is no clarity in the thought. That means there is no clarity in the thinking. So they cannot express whatever they want to express. So their thinking is, is a mess, and their speech is a mess. So this is a required thing. You should have clarity in your mind. You should have clarity in your thought. So if there is no clarity, then you cannot express properly. So you should sharpen your mind. So the Vedanta seeks this kind of intellectual clarity. So Kushagra Buddhi, this is what we call. So it should be sharp as a razor blade to get this. So there is one exercise they say, after listening to 1 hour lecture, you jot it down in a piece of paper in points. What are all the things you have learned? Try to recapitulate and jot it down, or while listening only you can jot it down and make it into some 150 words or 50 words. You can get the entire 1 hour lecture. So if you can do this précis writing, that's what we are doing in recap. 1 hour recap, these people who are doing recap, they are reducing it to 20 minutes. This is a great feat, a great mental job. So this itself is a great exercise, which will give you a good amount of intellectual health. So this is what we require. Then the fourth one, we said body health, mental health, and intellectual health, and the fourth one is arjavam, to have an alignment in all the three things. What are all the three things? Walk, the action, and the thought. So all three must be in one line. So if you have this jnanendriyas, karmendriyas, and antakaranas, all 14 angas, they must be in alignment. Then only you have that concentration, one pointed concentration. It is like this, the sunbeams, when they are focused to a point, they can even burn a piece of paper. If they are shattered, this energy is not there. So likewise, when all our faculties are focused, you get full concentration. So that is why this arjavam is required to have Atma Jnana. So this is the thing. This is about the human angle in acquiring Atma Jnana. Then the second angle is Karta Drushti. Karta means a doer, the doer's angle. So when we are doing a particular thing, we have free will. The human beings have free will. Whereas animals, they do not have free will. They cannot think with the intellect. So, as a doer, you should refine yourself. What do you mean by you should refine yourself? Whatever you are doing, you should think and then do it. Simply do not take up the work without any thought process. So, don't talk without filtering. You should have filters while you're talking. Just like that, spontaneously you should not talk. Emotionally you should not talk. And we have this involuntary reaction. They are more brutal. So they are, okay for an animal, but for a man, for a refined person, he should have a control on these involuntary reactions. He cannot spontaneously react and revolt. So that kind of thought process is very much required for a sadhaka. So you should have this kind of thinking and filtering mind in the family, in the society. So you should analyze the past and future, the consequences, and then you talk and you have to take your steps. So whatever you are planning, your action must be according to the plan, and your planning must be proper. Without thinking, without analyzing, never take up anything. So this non-thinking and spontaneous action is an enemy. Initially, it will look like a hindrance because the thinking process will take a lot of time. Even for a small thing, if you start thinking, you will not be able to perform well. But as you practice, you get that sharpness. So it is like this, when you practice music, you cannot suddenly start the ragas. So first you will be exposed to saptaswaras, sarigama padanisa. First they teach arohanam, sarigama padanisa. Then they teach avarohanam, sanidapa magarisa. Then slowly they will improve stage by stage and take you to jantaswaras, varnas, gitas. Like that, they will take you sistaswaras. Means whatever the Guru composed, they will teach. Then kalpanaswaras. Like that, you get stage by stage, you improve yourself. Then you will become a real good singer. So if you want to sing, you have to go through all this process. So you will be able to sing fast and meticulously, follow this astra. So this is what we have to learn while doing an action. Then the second aspect in doer angle is sattvika karmas we have to take up. So We should not take unintelligent actions and selfish actions. We have to take up sattvic karmas. So how do you know whether an action is intelligent or unintelligent? You can simply weigh your action. If your action is useful, if it is beneficial to many, it is called an intelligent action. If your action is beneficial to only you, it is not intelligent action. So you have to take up dharmic actions, you have to take up legitimate actions, and you have to take up sattvic and para upakara karma. This is what we have to do. From tamasic karmas, you have to change to rajasic karmas. From rajasic karmas, you have to change to sattvic karmas. This is the angle. Then the third aspect is the enjoyer angle, bhokta drushti. So bhokta means the enjoyer. It is not simply the person who eats. Bhokta means who enjoys the karma phalas. So we should refine our mind as a bhokta. What do you mean by refining our mind as a bhokta? As a bhokta, we enjoy the karma phalas. We do not know what type of karma phalas we are going to get. Even if you know the type of karma phalas you are going to get, even if you guess what is the karma phala you are going to get, but sometimes they are not under your control. So when the karma phalas are not under your control, you have to accept them as Ishvara Prasadam, and you should not brood over. When the karma phalas are under your control, try to refine them and have some moderation. So you should make your mind very strong. So when the situation is not under your control, there is only one thing which is under your control. What is that you have under your control? That is to make your mind stubborn, make your mind strong, so that you can face any kind of situation. Supposing there is a heavy downpour and you need to go out, what will you do? You take an umbrella or you wear raincoat and then you go. In the same way, when you make your mind very strong, you can face anything. So this is this kind of mental preparation, mental stability, mental strongness is required as a bhokta. Then you have to show intelligence. You have to improve your intelligence as a bhokta. What do you mean by improving the intelligence? Sometimes we have to face some odd situations. Bhokta means enjoyer. Enjoyer means sometimes you have to undergo bad situation. That is also the enjoyer. Experiencer, you can say. The experiencer, doer. Doer means karta. Experiencer means bhokta. So the situation, even if you want to avoid, it will have some influence on the mind. You will get some kind of pain, you will get some kind of sorrow, sometimes anger, sometimes discouragement, sometimes irritation. All these things you will get. It will affect the doership. So whatever the bhokta enjoys, it will have a direct effect on the doer. For example, you have to write an examination tomorrow. You have prepared very well. You can write whatever the questions the examiner will ask. You are thoroughly prepared and you are so sure that you can answer 100% of the question paper perfectly well. But the day before you write the examination, there is some kind of conflict in the house. There is some unrest in the house. And being a part of that house, your mind is also shattered. So with that shattered mind, if you enter the examination hall, you cannot have concentration. So this bhoktaship, this experiencer, this enjoyer, influences the doer. So what you have to do is you have to separate enjoyer and the doer, compartmentalize, and then do the things. Because the bhokta will influence the karta, karta will influence the bhokta. Like that, it is a vicious circle. Then you can learn a lesson as a bhokta from every experience, especially when the experience is bitter. You can learn many things so that you will not repeat the mistakes again. You will make your mind stronger and stronger. So if you can maintain this is the kind of a stage where you can grow in your life. Parikshalokan karmachitan brahmano nirvedamaya. So you can have as a bhokta, you may have bitter experience. So the life itself is a teacher. It is not always the school and college which gives you the lesson. Our life itself is a big school wherein you can learn many lessons if you really have that analytical mind. So this is the angle, and the fourth angle, which is the last angle, is called mumukshu drushti. Mumukshu means the person who seeks moksha, who is interested in the moksha. So, as a sadhaka, as a spiritual person, you should have attachment on Shraddha and Bhakti. You should have attachment, Bhakti. You, as a spiritual seeker, you should have three things: Shraddha, Bhakti, and attachment. On what? On God, on Guru, on Shastra. So, first and foremost thing is you should have Ananya Bhakti on God. Every spiritual seeker must have Ananya Bhakti and Shraddha on Bhagavan. Without the grace of God, the spiritual sadhana is not possible. This is what Paramatma himself expressed in 18th chapter. Machittaha sarvadurgani mat prasadat tarishyasi athachet tvamahankarat na sroshyasi vinanshasi. Hey Arjuna, only with my grace and krupa you can make your spiritual journey comfortable, and you can do it with a great ease. Therefore, have Shraddha on me, on Bhagavan. That's what Paramatma taught to Arjuna. In fact, if you question who is Bhagavan, even though we cannot give a proper answer, even though you may not have a proper understanding what is Bhagavan and all that. You can have some kind of bhakti, some kind of shraddha towards Bhagavan initially. Then slowly, as you are exposed to Shastra, you can get the total idea of what is Bhagavan. One great philosopher said, even if God is not there, if you have faith in God, it will really help you in your life. Bhakti is very important. Bhakti is great. Don't worry whether God is there or not. So, those who believe God, those who have faith in God, they are mentally stable and they are having a healthy mind, healthy body, and healthy intellect. So it is not enough that you have bhakti. You should allocate some time in your day-to-day routine for God. So that may be a puja, that may be a parayanam, that may be japam, or that may be thinking about God. Some way or other, you have to connect yourself to God. Some people, they say, while I am traveling, while I am driving, while I am walking, I do my puja. So these are all bonus. They are not considered as the regular allocated time. You should have an earmarked time, at least 15 minutes. You have to spend time for your regular puja, for your connection towards the God. After that, it is your free will. You can continue this puja either walking or either going into some kind of meditation, whatever you are. Either in walking you can have japam, or while traveling you can do your puja. That's all bonus. You should specially allocate some quality time to Bhagavan and then connect yourself to God by regular puja or japam or parayanam, whatever the way you like. So it is like that if a friend comes to your house and you are engaged in some household work, you're cleaning the house or you're doing housekeeping and all that, then what will you do? You keep those things aside. You leave them aside for a time being and sit with your friend and spend your quality time. You talk to him with your open mind. The same rule applies to God also. So you should deliberately allocate some time for worship and puja. You should have this quality time. Then Bhagavan will shower grace on you abundantly. Then the second one is having bhakti on Guru. This is, we are talking about the Mumukshu angle. Mumukshu angle, the first one is having bhakti on God. The second aspect is having bhakti on Guru. So you should have equal bhakti and shraddha on your Guru. Whatever Guru says, it is for my spiritual improvement. That kind of faith you should have. So Guru Shastra Upadesena, on Guru and Shastra, you should have utmost faith. So whatever Guru says, you should listen properly and you should take it without any doubt. It is not that you have to simply sit with Guru and while away the time. You should try to grasp good things from a Guru. Sometimes what they do, or Swamiji tells, these people take interview from Swamiji and they go to him. When they go to him, they want to get some message from Guru. But instead of getting some message, they keep on talking. They will not allow Guru to talk. So at the end, they will say, thank you, Guruji, you have really advised. In fact, they did not allow Guru to talk even a sentence. They will say, thank you for your advice. This is the common thing, how these, Shishyas do. That's what our Swamiji often tells in his speech. So, you have to listen to Guru. Guru Upadesham, Guru Sravanam is very, very important. So, you should listen to Guru without any doubt and get the benefit. Understand the Shastra. Expose yourself for a long time. Do Sravanam, Mananam and Nididhyasanam. Then the third one is, you should have equal bhakti and shraddha on Shastra. Sometimes, especially initially when you are learning Shastra, you feel that it is taking you in the wrong path. Shastra will never mislead you. Shastra will help you like a mother. So, you should have utmost trust on Shastra. Shastram is pramanam. Just like your eyes shows colors and forms, ears will give you sounds. In the same way, Shastra will expose you to aporsheya vishayam, a thing which is not otherwise perceived. Eyes cannot sense the sounds. Ears cannot see the colors and forms. Like that, Shastra itself is a pramanam. Shastra is something like eye and ear. To acquire the aporsheya vishayam, Shastram alone is pramanam. So this pramanya buddhi you should develop. So you have to follow Shastra with utmost faith, and that knowledge will culminate into Nididhyasanam. That will that will give you Atma Jnana Nishta, which will be the prayojanam of learning Vedantam under an able and competent Srotriya Brahmanishta Guru. So if you look at this entire thing in short, we can talk in brief. The entire refinement can be seen in 4 different angles. The first angle is human angle. In human angle, we talked about the body health, then mental health, then intellectual health. And the 4th one is Arjavam. So all the 4 are very important so that you can proceed spiritually. Then the second angle is the doer angle, Karta Drushti. So do your actions with proper thinking. Analyze and do it. Just don't jump into action spontaneously. Take up the actions which are sattvic, which are helpful to others, which are beneficial to people at large. Para upakara karmas you take up. So this is the doer angle. Then the enjoyer angle or experiencer angle. You should show your intelligence. Make your mind firm to accept any kind of karma phala. You should sharpen your intelligence by the experience and exposure you get through your karma phalas. Every bitter experience gives you a lesson. You analyze and learn it so that you will not repeat the mistakes. You can refine your actions. This is the angle given in terms of bhokta. Then the third one is mumukshu drushti. So mumukshu drushti means the one who wants moksha Moksha is the only and only goal for a person. If a person keeps his goal as moksha, and that is the only goal, then he is called mumukshu. So, what is the angle as a mumukshu? So, as a mumukshu, you should have the bhakti, shraddha, and attachment towards three things. One, on Bhagavan, two, on Guru, three, on Shastra. So, if you look at this entire chapter, the chapter can be divided into three components. You can understand the entire chapter as three components. The first component is Daivi Sampatti. It is explained from sloka number 1 up to 3. Then the second aspect is Asuri Sampatti, which is started from sloka number 4 and culminated with sloka number 21. The third and final part is the importance of Shastra. This is from sloka number 22nd up to 24, the last sloka in this chapter. So, the first portion, which is called Daivi Sampatti, is the value system. Paramatma wanted all of us to develop certain values. He has narrated 26 various values so that if you try to develop these values, they will refine your mind so that you can grow spiritually and learn the Shastra, understand the subject properly. So, what are all the 26 values? These are dealt in depth while we are learning the subject. So, I am just giving you the topic headings. I am just giving you the titles of these values. First one is Abhayam, Sattva Samsuddhi, Jnana Yoga Vyavastitihi, Danam, Damaha, Yajnaha, Swadhyayaha, Tapaha, Arjavam, Ahimsa, Satyam, Akrodaha, Tyagaha, Shantihi, Apaisunam, Daya Bhuteshu, Aloluptvam, Mardhavam, Hrihi, Achapalam, Tejaha, Kshama, Drutihi, Saucham, Adrohaha, Natimanita. So these are the 26 values which a spiritual seeker must develop so that he can grow in the spiritual path. He can imbibe the knowledge with a great ease. Then Asuri Sampatti is explained in a very detailed way from sloka number 4 up to 21. Asuri Sampatti means the qualities which we have to avoid. They are obstacles to our spiritual growth. So, if you want to refine, you have to avoid these, negative values. You have to avoid these negative qualities. What are those Asuri Sampatti negative values? One is Dambaha, Krodaha, Darpaha, Parushyam, Abhimanaha, Ajnanam. All these 6 negative qualities you should avoid. These are to be totally eliminated. Then the third and final aspect, Paramatma wanted to give the importance of Shastra from sloka number 22nd up to 24. In the olden days, in this Vedic way of living, they used to give a lot of importance for the study of Shastra. They used to spend lot of time in Gurukula and learn this entire Veda Vidya through Guru. And this is a kind of practice which was prevalent in those days. So those who join these Gurukulas are not only Brahmins and Purohits, all people they used to learn Veda and Shastra. Even after leaving the Gurukulam, they make it a routine, Parayanam and Swadhyayanam and learning the Shastra. Thereafter also, it is a daily ritual. ऋतञ्च स्वाध्याय प्रवचने च सत्यञ्च स्वाध्याय प्रवचने च तपश्च स्वाध्याय प्रवचने च दमश्च स्वाध्याय प्रवचने च शमश्च स्वाध्याय प्रवचने च अग्नयश्च स्वाध्याय प्रवचने च अग्निहोत्रञ्च स्वाध्याय प्रवचने च अतिथियश्च स्वाध्याय प्रवचने च मानुषञ्च स्वाध्याय प्रवचने च प्रजा च स्वाध्याय प्रवचने च प्रजनश्च स्वाध्याय प्रवचने च प्रजातिश्च स्वाध्याय प्रवचने च सत्यमिति सत्यवचारादितरः तप इति तपोनिष्ठपौरुषिष्टिः स्वाध्याय प्रवचने ये वेति नाको मौद्गल्यः तद्धि तपः. So this way in our Shastra it is said that you have to do Swadhyayam and Pravachanam throughout your life. So in a systematic way, in a regular pattern, you have to learn Shastra and you have to do Parayanam. So now this Gurukula system is not prevalent. So we have to learn Shastra through the Gurus who are exposed to Veda and Vedanta. And there are, these modern ways of communication. You can also adopt this kind of methods and you can expose yourself. Like we are conducting classes in MS Teams. Many of our Guru Parampara, they are taking up this kind of teaching. And you can associate yourself to one of these gurus in the lineage and then start learning. Now it is very easy. Unlike in the olden days, you can stay with your house and family and then learn. This is the advantage of modern communication. And all this is on one thing, that is the Shastram is Pramanam. You should have the Pramanya Buddhi, you should have a complete trust on Guru and Shastra. As you have trust on your eye, when you have to talk about the colors and forms, in the same way, when you have to talk about the Apaurusheya Vishaya, you should have absolute faith on Shastra and Guru. Tasmat Shastram Pramanante, te Pramanam. Tato yati parangati. If you have this kind of attitude, then you will have the grace of Ishvara in abundance and you will be successful spiritually and you can achieve moksha in no time. Tato yati parangatim. So he assured such a person will definitely reach his goal. Goal means what? He can get that Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti. That internal freedom, the inner freedom he can achieve, and the balanced life he can be happy. The balance of his life, he will be a happy person. There is no mental disturbance. He can also get the Videha Mukti. There is no Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam for him. So, this is the summary of Daiva Sampatti and Asuri Sampatti, and we have completed the summary of Daivasura Sampadvibhaga Yogam. Next class, we will take up Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yogam. Om Tat Sat Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudatyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.